Welcome, welcome, welcome to First Talk with First Lady Melanie Johnson. Clearly, I am not First Lady Melanie Johnson. She couldn't be here, but I have a word for you. So I need everyone to come on in the room. Mm, Come on in the room. Yes. While we are coming in the room, let me remind you of what's coming up. So I need to tell you about my mama. My mama, I'm gonna turn this other phone off, was a reader, and she had books about almost everything and anything. And books were all over her house. And I think she was this way because they grew up poor. She often had to leave school to go pick cotton. And the one thing we could always have and we always had access to was books. So when my mom passed away, of course, each of us inherited some of her books. And I want to show you one of the books I inherited, The Battlefield of the Mind. I know you've heard First Lady talk about this book because this is the next book we are going to be reading. I am super excited about it because, unlike your book that will be brand spanking new, mine is well seasoned with yellowed pages, but my mama has highlighted the good stuff and wrote notes in the margins. Now, some of that is the Saints' phone numbers, but they're in there. So, this is the book we are going to be doing. If you have not ordered it, um, I don't know where my mom got hers. I know it's available on Amazon. And I'm quite sure Sister Deja is going to put the link up of where you can order this book because this is the next book that we will be reading as a group, Battlefield of the Mind. My mom enjoyed it. I'm quite sure we'll enjoy it. She has some highlights and some good notes. I cannot wait to discuss it with you. So now we are going to move right along to the word that God has given me to share with you. And I know it's from Him because you know how the Lord tells you something and you get a little convicted, or it's something that you're working on? We're going to discuss a little something like that. I have a question for everyone who is logging in. Now, we know that God gives gifts, but I think God gives us tools also. He gives you gifts, but he also gives you tools. Now, tools are something everybody has. Like everybody got a standard toolkit. It came with the package. You got eyes, ears, nose, mouth, you got arms, legs. It's a standard thing you got with the package. It's like the basic. The basic. If you bought a car, it's in the basic package. So my question to you is, are you using the tool God gave you for its divine purpose? Are you using your tool for its divine purpose? You might wonder what this tool is. What is the tool she's talking about that I have that I might not be using for its divine purpose? Well, let's get into it. Some folks say, well, that's her gift. It's not my gift. But God has given us all a tool that He wants to use. He wants us to use for the glorification of His kingdom. Everyone has been given the tool of communication, both verbal and nonverbal. Everyone. You can communicate in some way. I am by trade a speech language pathologist. There are many ways we can communicate. I can communicate verbally. I have a friend named Annie who's excellent at American Sign Language. If you have a stroke and can't talk, I can hook you up with an alternative augmentative communication device. I can get you to talking. That's what I do. It is a tool that God gave us. We spend a lot of time talking. Y'all, I spend so much time talking at work that when I get home, not only do I not want to talk to anyone, I don't want anyone talking to me sometimes. I am talked out, and I know it's hard to believe. Many of you know me as this exuberant person who talks all the time, who is always cracking jokes, but sometimes it becomes a bit much. But it's a tool, and I use my tool. Because I'm a mom, I am pumpkin, I am wife. I must make myself available to both listen and to provide encouragement, wisdom, assurance, and to build self esteem. And that is what you should be doing with your tool, the tool everyone has. Now, before I proceed, we need to recognize that tools can be used to build up or destroy. Take a sledgehammer, for instance. When we built the railway, and by we, I mean African Americans, when we built the railway, we used sledgehammers to drive spikes to hold down the cross ties. That's what we used. The same sledgehammer that we use to build the railway that went all the way across the United States of America can be used to tear down a home. It can't be used to push in a door or to kick in a door. It can be used for so many destructive things. So you remember that your tool can be used to build up or to tear down. Are you using your tool for its divine purpose? The divine purpose of your tool is to build up. It is not to tear down. If you are using your tool to tear down, to manipulate, or to even just be dominant, then perhaps you need to do some self reflection. Let's get into the word. Let's see what the word says about the tool. Let's go to Titus 2, 3, and 5. And I got my handy dandy King James with all my little tabs in it. And we're going to beat bop over to Titus 2, 3 through 5. I need somebody to type the scriptures in the comments for me because Sister Deja's hands might be tied, and I need to make sure everybody gets these scriptures. We're going to Titus 2, verses 3 through 5. What does the word of God says? Well, it says, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husband, and to love their children. Teachers, your tool is meant to teach. Your tool is meant to teach young women how to put a button on a shirt. Your tool is meant to teach women how to show their husbands love and affection. Your tool is meant to encourage young women with these children running around. It's going to be all right. Your tool is to offer that word of encouragement that women need when they're feeling down, when they are feeling like they are the only ones carrying the burden of being a single mom or a woman who is now taking care of her parents by herself, or a woman who's taking care of her spouse and it's becoming overwhelming because he is aging and maybe he has dementia, or maybe he is incontinent of his bowel and bladder. Your tool is to encourage and to teach. Whatever your skill set is, you can use it to teach someone. As a speech pathologist, I can teach a mom how to get her kid how to stop sucking his thumb. Yes, I can. I can identify when the kid is not hitting the milestones. And so if I see it, I'm going to gently talk to that mom about, oh, at 6 months, the baby should be doing this. Oh, can he do that? Can he roll over? You know, these are the things. Teach young women how to bake a cake. Teach young women how to shop and manage their money, because a lot of mothers have not shown that to their children. But as wise women of God, as women who exemplify that Proverbs 31 woman, these are skills you have and skills you can share with young women. One of the things, when I was younger, I have a friend, her name is Beth, and I did not know how to make biscuits. And it just blew her mind that I did not know how to make biscuits from scratch. Beth bought me a Betty Crocker cookbook. Honey, when I tell you I have learned how to cook more things from that cookbook, I know how to do cornbread. I can spatchcock a turkey. I make the best pancakes, and the recipe came from that Betty Crocker cookbook because I like them light and fluffy. I don't like them dense. So it's because she, as an older woman, saw an area that I might need help with, that I need to know how to cook from scratch, that I might not be able to run to Schnucks or one from the Piggly Wiggly to get a can of biscuits. Those are things I need to know how to do. And because she was a loving, caring, kind woman, not only did she tell me, but she gave me the tools to continue on with that. So it's been over 20 years. It's been about 28 years. I still have that Betty Crocker cookbook. My favorite recipes have sticky notes on them. I have tweaked them when I want to make something for a bigger crowd. But it's because she just took that little moment to teach me and to show me and to share and to impart wisdom into my life. I can cook. I can feed my babies. I tell people all the time, I don't have dinners out of a box in my house. I have ingredients. Yes, I have ingredients. I can cook. Let's go to Ruth 1, 16 and 17. Ruth 1, 16 and 17. You know, some people, we have different love languages. And I'm sure you've all read the five love languages: acts of service, quality time, gifts. The love language I speak may not be the love language you speak. Sometimes people need to hear you confess your loyalty and enduring love. And if you don't know how to do that, because they need affirmation, they need to know that you care for them, but they need it with your mouth, not with your actions, not with you just showing up. They need to hear it. They need to hear that, those words, I love you, that I'm here for you, that I'm not going to leave you. The same way God used those words with us, He wants you to use your tool to tell somebody else that. Let's see what the Bible says. Ruth 1, 16 and 17. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Where thou diest, will I die, and where will I be buried? The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. Now that's a friend to the end. That's Laverne and Shirley level. That's like Cagney and Lacey. That that right there. If someone tells me something like that, they're gonna be with me through thick and thin. Where I go, they're gonna go. Where I die, they're gonna die. That's what we call a day one friend. For me, a day 20 friend, because I got my best friends when I was around 20 years old. And where I go, they will go. I can call my friend now and she will be here. So sometimes people, you may be offended when you hear somebody say, I didn't have anyone to call. In your mind, you think, well, she could have called me. But have you told her with your tool that you're available? Let's not assume that we know that people know that we love them and we are available to them. Use your tool to communicate that to the person. We don't want to leave anything in the air as wise women of God. We don't want anything to be left to an assumption. We want people to know where we stand, where we're going, who we're with. You know, there's an old song, I want to know, where do you stand? Who's on the Lord's side? Yes. So you need to let people know where you stand. Honey, I'm with you. I love you. I am going to be here for you. If you need me, now don't say this if you don't mean it. You can call me day or night. Don't mean it. Don't say it if you don't mean it. But some people need to hear that because they do feel alone. Because even though you see them on Sundays and you may see them at the grocery store or a special event, have you articulated to them? Have you said to them, I love you? And I just want you to know, if you call me, I'm coming. If you need me, I'm there. And then put some action behind those words. Let people know how you feel. Let people know the level of commitment you have in their lives. Let them know that. There are lots of young families and couples with young babies. Someone just asked me the other day, they've had a little rash. Can I put ointment on that? Yeah. Just be there. Be there, be around. Don't force yourself on people. Make yourself available to use your tool. Just have the tool ready and present. Let me tell you, when there's a fire, baby, you cannot go looking for the fire extinguisher. If your fire extinguisher in the basement, your house gonna burn down. If your fire extinguisher in the garage and your kitchen on fire, your house is going to burn down. Have your tool available. You need to have that tool ready to go, as Wanda says. Ready to go. Be available. Make yourself, show yourself kind and loving. People have to hear it. Believe it or not, people have to hear it. My love language may be quality time. Your love language may be acts of service. But somebody's love language is affirmation. They need to hear it. Let's go to Proverbs 31. We're going to go to Proverbs 31 and we're going to read 25 and 26. 25 says, strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She opens her mouth with wisdom, not foolishness, not folly. She's not saying things to set people up. She wants people to be prosperous. She wants people to grow. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. Using wisdom and kindness in communication is key. I confess, I can be short and very sharp with my tongue. I can be short with people and very sharp. But this tool God has given me is not meant to cut. This tool is meant to mend. This tool is not meant to put people down. It is meant to lift people up. It is not meant to make people feel less than. It is meant to lift their heads and to build them up with words of encouragement. This tool is meant to offer words of wisdom to those who need it. We are meant to deliver a message wrapped in a pretty package. Yeah, we're meant to deliver a message wrapped in a pretty package. Now, when you see a Tiffany's bag, you're going to go right to that and pick that up. If you see old brown, greasy paper sack, you don't want that. You don't want that. You're not going to open that. You're not going to look at that. You don't want that. So you want that Tiffany's. We all know it's something good in that box. When you see that, it's called robin's egg blue with a white ribbon, baby, you already know something good is in that box. So, if your reputation precedes you and you have a reputation of giving wisdom with kindness, when you go to approach someone, what they see is a Tiffany's box and they know something good is in it. You know, no one can resist, no woman I know, I have not met her, I have not met her, can resist a Tiffany's box. I couldn't, I could not. So we want to wrap our words with, we want to be sweet, we want to be kind, we don't want to be loud. We want to give them what they need with gentleness because a soft word turns away wrath. It does. So sometimes it's not about how you say it, it's how you package it. If you package it in a Tiffany's bag, baby, it will be received more often than if it was in an old greasy brown paper sack from the Piggly Wiggly. Nobody want that. That's the same sack. And when I see that sack, what I see is the sack that has the flour in it that I shake my chicken legs up and fry that. I don't want that. I want that Tiffany's bag. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Let's go to First Timothy to see what Brother Timothy has to say. First Timothy, First Timothy 3:11. First Timothy 3:11. Even so, must their wives be grave, not slanderers, sober, faithful in all things. Ladies, when we have our meeting of the cackling hens, because we like to laugh, let us be laughing at things that are funny. Let us not be gossiping about other people and slandering other people's names. Let our feet not run to do things that are malicious because the feet are the vehicle to take your tool, your mouth, to do mischief. We don't want that. We don't want that. My mouth don't like that. Don't do that. Don't slander people. If you hear something, you can be the person to shut it down. Don't let it go past you. Pray about it. Give it to God. Don't tell me, I don't want to be your garbage can. I don't want to know. I'm a person who will say ignorance is bliss for me because I don't want to know other people's business. I tell people at work, that does not concern me. That is above my pay grade. I'm not going to slander anyone because I don't want it done to me. And more than that, it is not pleasing to God. And if you are married, you're embarrassing your husband. I said what I said. If you are a wife, as my kids say, out here in these streets, running your mouth, slandering, you are embarrassing your husband. Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you're doing. So we don't want to be an embarrassment to our husbands. We don't want to be an embarrassment to our children. We don't want to be an embarrassment to our church family. And we don't want to be displeasing to God. That behavior is displeasing to God. Don't do that. Don't do that. Um, there are 6 things the Lord hates, even 7. Yeah, go to that verse. I believe this tool is addressed in that. It is. Yeah, it is. Let's go to Proverbs 21:19. So I try to get some New Testament and some Old Testament. We're going to first do Proverbs 21:9 and then Proverbs 21:19. If you've been to BTBI and you've had Dr. Webb for a professor, she will tell you if the Bible repeats it, pay attention to it. It's extra important. If the Bible teach it, repeats it, it is extra, extra important. And you need to hone in on that. You need to take that word and just eat it and meditate on it and sit with it and let it marinate in your spirit. Let us read. Proverbs 21:9 says, it is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than to than with a brawling woman in a wide house. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. And Proverbs 21:19 says, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. It is better to go fight lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Than to put up with this, than to hear this, than to be abused by this. Yes, I said abuse. I said it. Than to be attacked, verbally attacked by this. Men are sensitive too. They are physically more, they're stronger than us, but your husbands, they have opened themselves to you. So you can wound your husband deeper and greater than anybody on the outside can because he's put his trust in you. You know his deeper secrets, you know his hurts, you know everything about him. Don't use your tool to tear him down. Don't mess with his self esteem. Don't do that. Honey, your husband should be the finest thing walking, and you should tell him every day, and he should know. My husband is handsome. He's sexy. I say it. I do, and I mean it. He's smart. He's kind. He's giving. I say it with this tool right here. I want to build my husband up. Build your husband up and see doesn't he walk around with a puffed out chest in a good way? Yes. Yes, build him up. Don't tear him down. Anytime it's better to be out in the wild than in the house with a quarrel. That's not good. That's not good. God is not pleased with that. Don't do that. Practice to be quiet. If you don't have anything nice to say, what did Thumper Mama say? Don't say anything at all. Yes, I did reference a Disney movie. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Don't say anything at all. And my final scripture, I'm going to tell you about my mama. My mama was known as a woman of wisdom. People knew that you can go to talk to Mother Wooden. You could go to her house. She was going to give you a plate. You're going to have some hot coffee. She's going to listen to you, and she's going to give you some godly advice. I'm going to be honest, that is what I strive to be. You know, as a young woman, me and my mother did not see eye to eye, but as she got older, I began to appreciate her and understand her. And she began to pour into me because I opened myself to be an open vessel to her. She used the tool to teach her daughters. She did. She used that tool to encourage young married couples. I remember coming home to visit, and it would be young people I knew, either the husband or the wife or them both, talking with my mom, and my mom giving them guidance on how to draw closer to each other, how to draw closer to God, how to raise their children in holiness. Yes, ma'am. My mom did that. And she did it. That's what she did. So when you spend time with God and you've learned his ways and you've allowed the Holy Spirit to massage your heart, your words will always be sprinkled with wisdom. Your words will always be sprinkled with wisdom. Let's read Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. The instruction you give will be such that people will seek you out for advice. And these are signs that you're using your tool as God intended. These are signs you're using your tool as God intended. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness. Ladies, don't be sharp with your tongue. Be loving, be kind. Use your tool to build, not to destroy. Be your husband's crown, not his thorn. Be your children's glory, not their despair. Be pleasing to God. Use your tool to build. Ladies, I want to thank you for spending this 30 minutes with me. I There are so many things we can talk about with our tool. We can use our tools to talk about. Um, but I think this is much needed. I think we should be really mindful. I know we should be mindful of the things we say and how we say it. What comes out of your mouth can destroy or build up. I'm going to tell y'all something. I have an aunt, and she would give a compliment. That's a compliment wrapped in an insult. And my hair has always been thick and it has always been long. And one day she walked up to me and she rubbed my hair and she said, "Ooh, your hair is so thick, but it is so coarse." And the way she said it, it was like a stanky look on her face. It made me so self conscious about my hair. And I stayed that way for years just because she said that. So think about that. Something that small can impact somebody for years. Be kind with your tool, be gentle with your tool, and use it wisely. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. And in the words of my pastor's wife, if I do not see you here and I do not see you there, I pray I see you in the air. Have the most amazing, amazing evening. God bless you.